we as white people can no longer afford to ignore the blatant racism that is aimed at us. See what I'm talking about here? So he's raised over $500,000 in a legal defense fund. And what does his black family do immediately? They move to a mansion, buy a Cadillac Escalade, and some new kit. Black people don't know how to use money. Let's just talk about that. This is why they don't have any. They think they don't have money because of like white oppression. But the problem is, as soon as they get money, they blow it on the stupidest things. Okay, we get it. You're scamming people. You're 100% scamming people. Okay. Now, the black people that donated to his fund don't really seem to give a fuck. They don't care that he's scamming because this is what I try to explain to people. They're not donating to Karmelo because they love fellow black people so much and they want to see one of them rise up. No. They're donating out of sheer hatred and resentment of the white man, which they have been taught to blame for every single one of their problems from slavery. Which, if you follow me on any platforms, you know that I know who the real slave masters were. And they're the same people who are enslaving all of us now, which is okay, I guess, because now at least we have equality. We're all equally slaves. And yes, I'm talking about, here we go, Jason Whitlock, who I like, by the way. I know he recently got into some stuff with Nick Fuentes, but he said, "You'll never convince me that the people who tip $4 and $5 on restaurant tabs of $200 and $300 gave $500,000 to Karmelo Anthony. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night." And I responded, "Hey, they're tipping $5 and $10 here too. You may refuse to believe it, but the truth is the black community is blinded by the very hate they accuse whites of." So, Jason, I get why he's skeptical. I mean, I definitely think there's some kind of manipulation and orchestration behind this. So I think this one's getting so much attention because it's so obvious to anybody who is not racially motivated that this was a racially motivated hate crime of black on white. Okay? So most non-black people can see that. Some black people can also see that. Jason Whitlock did talk about that. The Hodge twins talked about it. There was a couple of right-wing black conservatives who talked about it, who can see that this is clearly a racially motivated hate crime against a white man. And there is no possibility of claiming self-defense. But the majority of black people who are able to perceive what's going on don't care. They don't care. And if you don't believe me, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these messages. By the way, it's black people that are leaving the money. $5. That's not a Jew. That's a black person. Okay? This is the way black people contribute to each other. This person wrote, "Black America is 100% on code, and it's lovely, Black Fist. These white supremacists losing their minds." First of all, if you're going to speak our language, use grammar. You sound retarded. And I am enjoying it so much, I just cured my depression. I didn't know black people got depressed, by the way. A special shout out to see some African/Caribbeans supporting Karmelo. Many of them are starting to get on code with us. I guess this is like a new slang term that means like, thinking the same or something. I don't know. I don't try to decipher gibbly jobbly gook because I speak proper English, even though it is my second language technically. So to this young boy and his family, he is a great kid and should not have been bullied. This was not what he went to his track meet for. He is a stand-up student and deserves the best defense. First of all, this is how retarded they are, okay? They believe that Karmelo's got like a 3.8 GPA, and actually what happened was he had like a 1.3, 1.2, and I think a 1.3 GPA his freshman, sophomore, and senior year, and they added that up. They think that's how GPA works, okay? This is who you're arguing with online, by the way. I don't think we should argue with these people online. May the Most High continue to keep uncovered. God is not there to take the side of the unrighteous, of the unholy. If you actually understand the Bible, you'll realize that what happened with Carmelo and Austin is straight out of Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel out of pure envy and resentment and spite. And I'm going to tell you this, Carmelo did the same thing. His brain has been washed by tons of Hollywood propaganda for the last 50 to 70 years about how horrible white men are and how they're responsible for why they're not having a good life, and everything is racism. And so there's a brewing resentment and hatred. Oh, the only reason this white kid is in a better position than you is because of instituted racism. So he killed him because he thinks, if I kill him, I can kill this reality that I don't like. Okay, so yeah, and look, $40. He's so into it. He can give $40, $5. I mean, even this guy, this one here, $20, $25. Yeah, this is going to add up to $500,000 if you have several thousand people donating that. So I disagree with Jason on this. I get it. I do think they definitely want us to focus on a race war. This is the judge who reduced his bail to $250,000. What do you guys notice about her? She's a black Republican. I thought that if you were a Republican, you were going to side with other Republicans no matter what. Is this seeming to be tribal loyalty? Can't be. Can't be. They're conservative. They're Republicans. There's no way, right? How much do you think his family really gives a shit about him? If they go ahead and they move into this house, let's see, an $863,000 home, which they're renting. What do you think the rent is there every month? They're just blowing through his fund because they have no sense of future planning. This kid, though, I mean, he's got like a blank stare. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't think he's chill about what happened. Even though he's getting all this money or whatever, to me, it seems like he's guilty. Like he feels the guilt, because he's not walking around looking like he's scot-free. You know what I mean? I don't think people realize what the effect of a murder is going to have on them. I mean, maybe if you're a psychopath, you don't give a shit. But with parents like this who immediately go and blow your money that's supposed to be to save your life, you can see how much they really care about him. And he's got to know that, you know what I mean? So I don't know what the story is here, but the other part of this story is that the house is owned by a couple of the wonderful H-1B visas who are going to save us from the lazy Americans who are really bad at code. Aren't you guys so happy they've started bringing these guys in? They're just willing to do whatever it takes to benefit and profit themselves. So they don't care where, that this guy's, they don't care, and they don't really care about racism one way or another. They just know that they can use the claims of racism to garner a kind of blanket protection from looking at their own heinous deeds. Okay. Anybody who's familiar with the H-1B visa scams will run these major scams where they set up a fake company that says they need all of these employees. And what they do is they just bring in their family members. They fake documents, they fake test scores, they fake certificates, and they pretend they're like these highly qualified people that they need. And then they just import them in by the boatload. And you guys can just go the give, send, go thing, and you can just look at the comments. When these white people post something dumb, I always look at the amount of likes that it gets, because I love seeing the amount of them just lurking with hateful eyes as we lift up Karmelo and his family. Why does it take one of you being a murderer for you guys to lift them up? Why don't you guys ever lift up the black members in your community who are intelligent and achieve things? No, because that also puts you in a position where you're like, oh, well, if that guy's doing it and he's black, then what excuse do I have? You don't like that. But boosting a murderer, boosting a fentanyl addict, boosting somebody who goes and attacks the police, that's great, because you guys can all fulfill that super low standard.
I really had enough of this whole life, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Fuck every white man, woman, and child alive on this planet. All of you motherfuckers need to die. All of you do. We need to go for a global recessive genetic purge by any means necessary.
Black man has no fear of any of these. One, he probably doesn't have a job that he's afraid of losing. No fellow blacks are going to call him out and attack him about it, right? The white community isn't going to start getting violent because we've been pacified beyond belief. And as long as we have our, comforts, phones and, fast food and our luxury cars, we don't care. So white people, you're kind of complicit, not kind of, you are totally complicit in your own genocide and the genocide of your children and the slave system they're going to find themselves in, because you don't want to risk speaking up because you might lose these comforts. You don't deserve the reputation of your ancestors who braved all kinds of harsh conditions as they ventured out into unknown frontiers and conquered these lands and built these civilizations. So, on one level, white people will go online and talk about their ancestors and how their ancestors built this. And people will say, well, you don't get the credit of your ancestors. So on some level, that's true. On another level, it's not, right? Because we do share the same genes. But where I will say it's true is the passive nature of the white man today, the resting on the laurels of what were accomplished by their ancestors, that's not going to get you anything. Freedom has to be defended by every generation. And the minute you get lax, boomers, that one of the biggest things that white people will try to hang on to is say that racism in America was virtually gone. And then they'll show you TV shows. The Cosby Show. This guy was women. Okay. He was gay. Might also be gay. I got nothing bad to say about Michael Jordan. I mean, he did marry a white woman. Racism wasn't mostly gone. What was happening in the 90s around the same time? Oh, the O.J. Simpson trial, the Rodney King riots. There were probably others that don't come to mind, but racism wasn't gone. Black people hated white people. They celebrated when O.J. Simpson got away with blatant murder. So what you're actually saying is, I like the time when we all felt nice and didn't have to face reality because it wasn't that bad yet. It wasn't affecting me yet. But this is what you got to realize. This is just going to get progressively worse. It will come to your doorstep. This isn't going away. And that any push to be less racist only means white people should be okay with all the racial attacks that come their way, and they should never, ever, ever point out the racial dynamics of hatred towards them. If you guys want to see the full video, go to censored.tv. I will be doing live streams there every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys can come in, hear my most base takes. If you join in the chat, I will respond to you.